Hello, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. David, are we starting now?
Oh, sorry. I was doing my intro. I was muted. Sorry. I was muted this entire time. Um, I'll go again. Good evening, Lauderhill. Welcome to week 3 of the Get Active Lauderhill 60-day wellness challenge. We've talked about movement, we've talked about hydration and nutrition, and tonight we're talking about something that impacts every part of our health, financial wellness. From financial stress, it can affect your sleep, blood pressure, your mental health, and even relationships. So tonight is about building stability intentionally. And so before I introduce our speakers, I want to talk about this week's challenge. So as you know, each week we have a challenge. Last week it was water, and this week is a movement and exploration challenge. So for this week, we want folks to set goals, set a step goal or minute goal for being active. So about 7,000 to 10,000 steps daily. And then we've got 30 to 45 minutes of walking, 3 to 5 days in the week. And so set that goal or whatever works best for you, for your body. That's sort of the baseline, what we're recommending. But set those goals for yourself to see which one you can do. And then join or organize a small group going to a park. We have lots of beautiful parks in the city of Lauderhill, and so they're available for folks to explore. And so take a walk to one of the parks, one of the beautiful parks that are in the city, and enjoy yourself that way. And so what we do want folks to do is when you're doing these challenges, take photos, share it with us in our group. We actually have a WhatsApp group for folks who want to participate and share in the chat and share in the challenge. Talk to folks about what you're doing, share your progress, and things that nature. And so this is the WhatsApp group that we have. And so if you scan this QR code, you'll be able to join the WhatsApp group. If you join the WhatsApp group, if you scan the QR code, you'll be able to join the WhatsApp group and really be able to join and participate in the community and participate in the different challenges that we have going on during Get Active. So I'm going to leave that up for a little bit as I introduce our speakers. And so for this week, I'm honored to, we have two distinguished speakers who are very skilled, who are very well versed in the financial aspect of things. And so our first speaker is Ms. Sharon Parry, RN. She's a registered nurse, housing strategist, insurance broker, and financial expert. She brings a unique combination of healthcare experience and economic mobility strategy to the table. An economic mobility strategy to work she does in our community. Her approach focuses on building legacy, stability, and long-term empowerment for families. And so we welcome Ms. Sharon Parry and thank her for coming. And then our second speaker, or our next speaker, I don't know, I'm not sure which order they're going to be in, is Mr. Glenn Payne. Glenn Payne is the founder and CEO of Legacy Lives. Legacy Lives here, and the CEO of Innovate Management Solutions. He's a financial coach and nonprofit leader and proudly calls himself the chief generational change breaker. He's passionate about helping families transition from financial habits, building generational wealth, and break cycles that limit opportunity. Through financial literacy coaching, community outreach, and leadership development, Glenn empowers individuals to take control of their money and their future. And so we welcome Glenn Payne to this as well. And so that is our introduction. And so we welcome our two speakers. And so I will hand it off to them right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. I invited Glenn Payne, an expert here of Legacy Lives here. And he is going to start with savings because I will continue with credit. So I'm going to let our first guest go first, Mr. Glenn Payne.
All right, thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you, David. Can you hear me? All right, perfect. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tonight, coming on tonight to this Get Active, Get Fit in your financial literacy program. So tonight I'm going to be talking about the effects of financial stress, the trauma into budgeting, just overview of everything. So as the first screen shows here, legacy is not what you leave when you're gone. It's what you build while you're still here and hoping to pass on to someone else. So financial stress, one second. There we go. So financial stress is one of the leading causes of anxiety, high blood pressure, sleepless nights, especially in South Florida where, rent is rising, insurance rates are going up, and groceries and income seem to be stagnant. I know many of us are feeling like we got more paycheck gone before the month even begins or even ends at times. But you see, the problem is not always income. The problem is a lack of a plan at times. Sometimes income does play a factor, but we always have a plan to everything. All right, so I'm going to go into what we call financial trauma, the mindset behind it all. A poverty mindset, it's deeply rooted in the belief system, is what we believe also transcends into what we are facing. And also we can consider financial trauma as something very realistic because what we've experienced in our childhood or our parents' situation, we travel over into our personal lives, even as adults when it comes to doing money. So it can cause people to live in fear, not having enough. Now, I'm sure many of you can actually remember a time in your life when you were fearful because you experienced a hardship in your life that caused you to be traumatically adjusted to now realizing that now that you have more money, you're still living in that fear of lack or fear of not having enough. So scarcity thinking, I can't afford that. Fear of investing or giving, resentment of others in success, over depends on our jobs or systems, and sometimes we want instant gratification over long-term planning. So financial trauma is unresolved emotionally, and it can cause instability in our way how we spend money. So therefore, how we spend our money and how we work with everything we do in our life in terms of budgeting, our finances, it all goes back to the whole aspect of the stressful part of it and even the trauma or the financial strain that triggers us to now relate to money in that way. I once heard a famous coach say that money, that God owns it all. So I'm actually a Dave Ramsey coach as well. And one of his mantras is God owns it all. When we start to think about that everything that we own doesn't always belong to us, that we have to be stewards of what he gives us, then we take a different approach to how money comes to our hands and how it leaves our hands. So for many of us, we are trained in survival and not stewardship. So, how many of us can relate to hearing we can't afford that, or money is hard to come by, or money don't grow on trees? I'm sure Sharon can talk about a story where she's heard many of her clients talk about money don't grow on trees. I can't afford this. But these are things that we need to break through. First of all, number one says identify the lie, replace the truth, create a new vision, make room for prosperity, and take small, consistent, actionable steps. So let's go in straight into the seven baby steps of Dave Ramsey. He talks about some areas where we talk about where try to save money initially. We know emergencies are going to come all the time, right? So we say to people all the time, if you can save between $500 to $1,000 to put towards emergencies, let's do that. Now we might ask ourselves, what exactly is an emergency? Emergency could be something like the AC breaks or a car breaks down or unexpected medical cost. You go into debt, but if you have an emergency fund that covers these small things in life, it removes the panic out of our lives. So if you make, the general rule is if you make $80,000 or more, put aside $1,000. It can come from either your tax return or some area where you pull out $1,000 and you put aside in an account. Now, guys, this account does not mean it's going to go into a checking account or a debit card because a pizza run with the kids is not an emergency. Make that money emergency fund be far away as possible from access to you. It should only be accessible in the sense of emergency, which means if you know you have an issue in seeing the money and want to touch it, do not get an ATM card linked to the emergency fund. Use a check or go into the bank, or you can do an online transfer, which may take a bit more work to do, which may derail you from doing it. Secondly, you can find a high yield savings accounts, money market, or whatever instrument you choose to use to put that emergency fund in. Now, just because you put $1,000 in there doesn't mean it stops right there. You have to continue to build upon it. Now, you may say, well, I don't make that much money. Start with $500. If that's still too much, start with $250 and build your way up. So the next thing he talks about is working towards saving between 3 to 6 months of that emergency fund expenses. So for example, if you sit down and realize that your bills, which would be water, rent, HOA, whatever that you need to live in your house, the four walls of your home, take that full amount and put that times 3 to 6 months. And that will give you a fair amount of money to know what will be needed to survive in case of. Many you can remember COVID-19. When COVID-19 came, a lot of us was either furloughed, laid off, or we were in a tight situation. I myself was laid off. Then my wife got laid off 3 months later. We were both no longer having any income coming in, but we had an emergency fund set aside to survive, to pay the essentials, not all bills, but the essential bills to keep us one in our home, to pay the water bill for the city of Lauderhill, the electric bill, and the cell phone bill, and buy food. That was the essentials. Then we talked about when you have a snowball effect. Now, a snowball effect is where you're paying the smallest bill to the largest. That's baby step number 2. So once you've already saved your emergency funds, you're going to now start working on paying down some of your debt by paying the smallest to the highest. Step 4 says invest 15% of your income into a Roth IRA 401k, because we all know we cannot assume that the government will take care of us when time to retire. We have to have something of a nest egg to ensure that we can survive our golden years, 65 plus. Now, you may say, Glenn, I can't afford 15%. Start with something. It's better to start with something than absolutely nothing at all. Now, if you have children, start working on planning to either save for them in a savings account, and 529 plans in the state of Florida, or anything that can hold the funds while you're working towards ensuring your children has something let aside for them. Then steps 5 and 6 talks about pay off the mortgage early. If you have a mortgage and you've already removed a lot of the debt of your life, that's where 6 and 7 comes in. But for this conversation, I need you to focus on step 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once you've gotten those, then you can start saving something. Now, that doesn't mean you should not even save nothing towards your children's education. And I also say this as well, too. While you're saving for your child's education, start looking for scholarships in the arena, what they're looking for. Because if you can get scholarships before they even graduate high school and add to what you have saved, it can be a tremendous gift to your child. All right. Face it. Now, here's the thing. We all have debts at one point in time. So I need everyone to start listing your debts. A lot of us don't want to face it, but if we know what we have to pay in terms of debt, then we can start working to eliminate it. So once you've already written down all of your debts, smallest to largest, your credit card debt, medical bills, what it may be, then you're going to now create what we call the snowball effect. So here's an example of snowball effect. You have, let's say, 3 bills. One is $50 a month, one is $100 a month, and one is $200 a month. What you will do is you will pay all of the regular monthly payments, but instead of paying $50 for the very first one, you're going to make a double payment of that. Once that payment is finished, you're going to take what you was already spending, add it on to the second highest bill, and now instead of paying $100 per month for the second bill, you're now paying 150. So therefore the debt leaves faster. That actually is a snowball effect. Now, don't run away from your creditors. Our custom sometimes has be when people call you, we don't want to answer. At times, Sharon can talk about some more, but when they call, answer the calls if possible. Call them before they call you. Ask for assistance. Work on something, work on a plan with them, a financial plan to help decrease your debt. And number four says increase income streams, which means if you have a natural gift and talent, let's suppose you are a great baker, make cakes, sell cakes, find ways to earn extra income in your household to help cover small bills or even towards your savings account. Now, we talked about the four walls before. The four walls in your entire housing, it should be your housing, utilities, food, and transportation. Those are the four things you should be majorly concerned about when you're on a tight budget. Everything else beyond that is below the line, as they would say, which means insurance. Now, if you have a car, you should have car insurance, yes. But if you're really in a crunch at this time, the main four things you should focus on will be the housing, which will be rent or mortgage, utilities, your food, and transportation, followed by then your insurance, your savings, minimum payments of debt, and everything else below that happens right afterwards. So once you've already listed all your debts from smallest to largest, you pay minimum all of them, you throw extra cash at the smallest one. Why are we doing this? It builds momentum, and momentum creates motivation to get out of debt faster. You see, behavior wins over the equation of math. We always say that minimum payments keep you stuck, but if you intentionally attack debt, it will get you free from it all. Now, many of us have a way, we always say, I don't have money to save. But I'm sure you can find things when you go through your out of your life and you realize, you know what, I'm paying for Netflix every month. I'm paying for Hulu, subscriptions. Go through your bank statement and look at where is your money going to. Who's getting your money? Is it the bank? Is it the Netflix? Is it Hulu? Is it the gym? Now, how many of us actually sign up for the gym every single year? We walk the gym every January. We start the workout and then we fall off, but the gym payments never fall off. We keep paying for it over and over and over every month. Check out for the streaming issues. Check out for gym memberships. Look around, shop around annually for car insurance. A lot of us, we stick and loyal to car insurance agents companies, but we have to also look around for ourselves. So every year, you pull out your statements and you shop around for various car insurance companies. Increase your income over time. It could be overtime, it could be certifications, it could be side income streams. Those are areas you can think about. And then from there, let me hit the next topic. Now, here's something that I've actually done that works a lot with myself, my wife. It's called the envelope system. So here's the thing. You've already done your budget. Your budget tells your money what to do, where to go, and when to do it. So your budget should be detailed to show the basic essentials, such as your utilities, your rent, your mortgage, how much you spend per month on food. Now, your budget can be either done bi-weekly or monthly, depends on how often you get paid and how much you want to control your income flow. So I would tell people all the time, create a monthly budget, but inside of it, you know your numbers in terms of how much you need to spend on food, on your utilities. And just because you pay FPL every single month, let's say $100, find ways to reduce it. One of the things I've told some of my clients would be change your light bulbs in your home to energy saving bulbs. Try these tricks and trades of turn the TVs off more often or turn the lights off. Change the setting of your AC to a general level that it keeps the house cool, but still doesn't cause consistent burn. And that has actually saved many of my clients, including myself, a lot of money. Now, FPNL also has a deal offer where you can sign up for a plan that keeps your monthly payments level all throughout the year. I actually have done it a few times myself. So now you've already completed your entire budget and you have your savings, your spend expenses, and we're going to earmark your money. Now you're going to break out and say, instead of using your card or credit card or ATM card, this is where you're going to stop and say, I'm going to put the physical cash in envelopes and use from the envelope. You see, because when the rule is when it finishes, it's done. But when you're on a credit card or debit card, you spend because you don't physically feel the money leaving your hands. So one of the things I've always tell people all the time is this. If you're going to put aside, let's say $100 towards groceries in an envelope, that $100 will go further in cash than with your debit card. Why? Because when you're in the line and you see Popeye's chicken is calling your name, you're gonna say, well, I have $100, but I can always pull money from my card and overspend. You see, when you have the envelope system, it stops abruptly the whole incident of overspending what you don't have to spend because you've already budgeted an allocation for where you want to put your food cost. Now, gas for the car, same exact example. Clothing. You may say, why do I gotta have to budget clothing? We have to budget clothing. Now, clothing doesn't happen every single month. You can put aside, let's say, $10, $20 towards clothing in a monthly budget. And let's say in 6 months' time, you need to buy a new outfit or kids' clothes for school. Instead of having to worry and struggle to figure out how you'll pay for clothing, every single month you've already been saving towards clothing in the household. You've been putting towards money towards insurance premiums or things that's coming up. Now we know every single year we have birthdays coming up, Christmas coming up, and different holidays. So we should start saving as well in an envelope or in an account, put money aside towards these essential things such as birthdays, Christmas, to avoid the burnout of trying to figure out how you're going to pay for these things. This eliminates overspending, it builds discipline and visibility overall. All right, let me say a few more things and I'll give it over to Miss Sharon. So my question to you is this for now. Where do you see yourself in next 2 to 5 years? Growing in prosperity or still wondering how do I get out of debt? Look at the major things we're going to talk about right now. So for example, you're going to ask yourself this question. What is an emergency? Well, it's unexpected, it's maybe necessary, and it's considered also urgent. You're going to ask yourself, where do I store my emergency funds? Well, it has to be easy access without a debit card, must be secure and liquid, not tied up anywhere. Now, the best types of money of accounts to save it in would be either a simple savings account, a money market account, or a high yield savings account. And then from here now, we're going to go into where we're going to talk about, for example, the FICA store. I will leave that over for someone else. So baby step 4 talks about investing in your household income for retirement. Now, there are different ways you can do this for college kids. For example, you can use an ESA. You can choose almost any kind of investment, stocks and bonds, and mutual funds. However, there's a contribution limit of $2,000 per child per year. The next option would be a 529 plan. Unlike the ESA plan, these are virtually no limit to the 529 contributions. It uses after tax dollars. It grows tax-free, and you can withdraw money tax-free at any time for expenses. Another thing you can say is this: when you're preparing for your college education for your kids, select an affordable school, apply for things like scholarship, grants, and work studies. And I'll leave it right here. So you can contact me for further information at legacyliveshere.org or contact me at 954-380-1172. I can definitely walk through more steps, more in depth to get you out of debt overall. Do take care. Thank you so much. Sharon, take it away.
Hello, hello, everyone. I am going to continue. Um, I am going to continue with the credit section part of the presentation. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so we are talking about the credit game. So in credit, we have to understand credit and we have to know what the terminologies are. We have to understand what our APR is, and if you have a credit card that has yield on it, we have to understand what the APY is. So APR is annual percentage rate, APY is annual percentage yield. APR is the percentage that you are being charged when you do not fully pay off your statement balance, right? And the APY is the amount that you get, that the agreement has for when you use your credit card. If it has an APY, that's the percentage that you get based on the money that you spend on that credit card. So for example, if you spend $100 and your agreement with the credit card for APY is 2% on the amount of money spent, it means that they will give you 2% of the $100 that were spent on your credit card. So we have to understand what credit is. So credit is an agreement between the lender, whoever that may be, and you, the borrower, and it allows you to obtain funds, right? So you can purchase items, and not only purchase items, but also um, be able to get a yield, but there is interest because you are using OPM. I don't know how many people have heard OPM is other people's money. So you're using someone else's money, so they charge you interest for the money that you use. So we're going to go over the what makes up your FICO, right? So Glenn started it talking about the FICO score. So right here we see the highest percentage of 35%, right, is when you pay on time every single time. So they're looking, the credit, whoever your borrower is, reports to the credit bureaus um, if you're paying on time, and that makes up 35%, right? And we also, for the next step, looking at the utilization. So utilization means how much you're using on your credit card based on your credit limit. So for example, let's use the same $100 credit limit on your credit card, right, for easy numbers, and 30% of that $100 will be $30. So for the utilization, you have to make sure that you use less than $30 in that statement period. The reason why I'm emphasizing statement period and not current cycle, because it's a game, and I'm not going to get into that game right now, because if you're just starting to understand it, the game is very tricky and you have to know how to manage it properly in order for it to work for you and not against you. All right. So the next step is three, and this is 15% of your FICO score. All right. Your new lines of credit, how many credit applications that were pulled, right, is shown up as 15% of your FICO score. And also how you use your credit card, to use your credit card regularly if you want to build credit. However, if you're trying to decrease your credit utilization, if you're trying to decrease your credit utilization, then you're going to attack it like Glenn just mentioned, with the snowball or the avalanche, because some people, right, prefer the snowball because they like to see when credit cards are paid off. They like the more rapid movement, all right? And some people prefer the avalanche. So it depends on you, your psychology and the way how you perceive things determines which angle you're going to come from. With the avalanche, the person goes after the highest debt, right? And what usually have a high interest rate, because the interest rate is going to be higher because the credit usage is higher on that card. And they go after that one because they want to decrease the principal amount. So the amount that they spent, not including the interest that's charged on that account. So some people prefer to attack the highest card, right? And then go down to the smallest one because in their minds, the smallest one requires less money. So it depends on your psychology. Most people like the snowball because they like to go after the card that has the lowest amount because that's easier and quicker to pay off, and it gives you a hyped up feeling that yes, I can do this, I can keep going. It's more instant than the avalanche part of it, right? So with credit card, right? These are the basics. But if you want to really know about your personal situation, I'll let you know how to contact me at the end. We have secured and unsecured credit card. So basically, in a nutshell, a secured requires a cash deposit. So let's say that you don't have a credit history, right? And you're trying to start with credit, or you're trying to start over with credit, like in my situation, right, with me getting sick and in the ICU. Of course, when you're in the ICU and you are you know, trying to stay alive, you're not thinking about credit, right? Things fall through the cracks when you're in the ICU, right? So I had to start back over. So the secured credit card, you put down an amount of money, let's say with $100, to not confuse things again, $100 to the lender that you choose that has the secured credit card, whoever lender that is, um, and you use your own money to purchase items and you pay the money back. You follow the same principles of not using over 30%, right, of your $100, which is $30 in this case, and you build back up your credit. Now, an unsecured card requires no deposit, right? And a lot of people have the unsecured credit card and it gets out of hand because they feel like it's not their money that they're using, but it is your money because you're gonna have to pay it back. So also, as we see here, that this credit card may require a higher credit score because, like I said, the secured, you put your money in to open the card, right? But with the unsecured, they go after your credit score. They look at your credit score to determine how much to lend you to lend you. And with a unsecured credit card, if you're very good at managing that card, they tend to increase it without you even asking. However, if you want to ask for an increase, you can call the credit card company for an increase to decrease your credit utilization percentage, right? And so we have credit objectives, right? What are the objectives? We have objective number one, pay on time. Objective number two, pay off balances in full each month, right? Those statement balances. And objective number three, keep your utilization below 30% and avoid too many cards that you are opening, right? Because it affects your credit score. Okay, so I know I've been saying statement balance and current balance, and a lot of time people interchange them and they are not interchangeable. Okay, so statement balance goes by your billing cycle, right? And it is calculated on the last day of that cycle. But your current balance covers all the charges. So, for example, we are in February now, and let's say that you made charges in January and your billing cycle ended January 30th. Let's say ended January 30th. And those charges that you made January 30th are on your statement balance. But you made charges this month in February. It's going to show up on your credit card statement as current balance because they have the previous month, January, and they have this month, February, that we're in right now. But notice we're not at the end of February yet. So it has not come to a statement balance. So you need to make sure that you pay off January's payment because it also shows that you know you're a responsible borrower, and it should make sure that your utilization stays low, because if you do not pay off the January payment at that's when, now that we're in February, that's when you accumulate interest on those charges. So when I teach people, when they come to me personally about their finances, I always tell them that when they make a charge, try to make that payment 3 days after or with their next paycheck. And this works because I have had multiple people now um, use this principle, and they have increased their credit scores into the 700s when they did not have a credit score before. So it is very important for you to understand the difference between the statement balance and the current balance. So statement balance is the statement period that had already passed that needs to be paid, and the current balance is the past statement balance with any additional charges that you've made in this new billing cycle. So we have, again, for everyone to understand about the five main weighing factors of your credit score. So we talked about 35%, your payment history. 30% is your usage. 15% is your credit history, how long you had the credit cards. That's why I tell people that when they have a credit card and they paid it off, try very hard not to close the credit card, because the longer you had the credit card, it can increase your credit card. All you have to do, if you're a person that has a Dollar Tree or something next to you and you need, I don't know, a cleaning product, go to the Dollar Tree, use the credit card that you've already paid off, get the cleaning product. What the Dollar Tree is now, $1.50. Use the $1.50, and then 3 days later, pay the $1.50, so you don't pay interest on that $1.50. 3 days later, pay off the $1.50, and just keep that card going. Credit is a game, and you have to understand how to play it. And also with new credit card accounts, 10%, and the type of credit usage, meaning some people have car payments that they pay on time. People have now we have rental reports that we can report on our credit now, so we can increase our chances of home ownership. We have, of course, credit cards. We have also health plan cards. So for people who don't have insurance to properly cover their health care, there's cards for that also. So the adversity of your credit also increases, but it only affects it 10%. And this is a little bonus because my next slide is my end slide. So this is a bonus that we're talking about once you start with the saving that Glenn had already mentioned, right? You have your 3 to 6 months of savings and you need to build your portfolio because no one wants to work until they leave this earth. Most people do not want to work on in their 90s and 90. Most people do not want to do that. So it is very, very important for you to also start now. Don't wait for tomorrow, what you could do today. After you have already started with your savings, right? To make sure, like Glenn said, for your retirement, right? And I have the different types of retirement and what and the tax ramifications here. Also diversify with stocks, mutual funds, and if you're into crypto, study about it first before you do that. Real estate, right? Including the house that you're living in, because that's money that you're sitting on, right? That you can utilize to make more money. And have, of course, life insurance because, like I said, from my experience, when I ended up in the ICU, usually health issues are unexpected and come suddenly and out of nowhere. So you also should have life insurance. It is a must because you do not know what the doctors are going to tell you tomorrow when you go to the doctor for your primary care visit, your annual checkup. You have no idea what they're going to say. So it is very, very important that you have life insurance. And if you know that in case if you have a home and you have a family to take care of, to make sure that you also add riders like a long-term care rider in case you get sick, because insurance pays you not only when you leave this earth, it actually can pay you here and now while you are alive and incapacitated. And it also protects your family. So I also want to include that about portfolio building. It is essential and it is necessary. That's how I was able, when I was homeless for 2 years and 8 months, was able to start with 8 cents and was able to save over $10,000. And with last year with my heart surgery, was able to pay my deductible because my heart surgery was almost $250,000 and I had to come up with a deductible, and thank God deductible has been paid because I understand the principles. So again, my name is Sharon Parry. I'm the CEO of Your Water Foundation Inc. and Y Wi-Fi Realty. I teach principles of savings, building legacy, finance, generational wealth, and how to leave your children trust fund babies from poverty to trust fund. That's what I do, and I'm good at it. And you can reach me on my website, sharondparry.club, because it will send you to all my other websites for whatever you might need, including insurance. I'm licensed in the state of Florida. Thank you so much, David, for inviting me tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Sharon, and thank you, Glenn, for that for those amazing presentations. I know I personally learned a lot just when you guys talk about how to use credit, how to maintain credit. Those are very crucial pieces of information. I know we've got a couple of people on the Zoom here. I don't know if anybody in the room has questions. Otherwise, I'm going to move towards our close here. Um, so if there are any questions, just feel free to raise your hand, pop up, and we can have our speakers answer those. And so, as I said, thank you to Sharon, and thank you to Glenn for the information. They shared their contact. Oh, Sharon, did you share your contact information? I don't think I remember you doing that.
I shared it verbally, but I didn't share it
Okay.
on the chat. No, I'm gonna type it in the
Okay.
chat now.
Okay, I just didn't remember if I heard you say it. Okay, that's great. I'm glad that you shared it. Okay, and so what's next? This week's challenges, as we talked about, those are straightforward. We want you to reach out to anybody who's on our Zoom here today. I'll share their information on our Facebook as well, so that folks have a resource and know how to find them. Um, and so everything is connected. Everything that we're doing. We are doing these sessions weekly. We have another one next week. And everything that we're doing is we're trying to lead up to prepare for our community 5K that's going to be happening on April 4th. And so it's very important that everybody stays consistent, keeps moving, and keep building forward on our Get Active goals. I'm going to share the information for our I'm going to share the information to join our WhatsApp one more time here. This is the code. This is the QR code for the WhatsApp. And so you scan that and you're able to join in the WhatsApp. And like I said, you'll get information. We have the trainings that are happening throughout the week, training with our 5K trainers early on in the mornings, and then sharing your progress, sharing with everybody else in the group about what you're doing, how you're hitting your goals, and how you're getting active and staying active. And so with that, I'm going to close for, I have a couple chat messages. Oh, you're sharing your info. Okay. With that, I'm going to I'm going to end our live and we're going to close for this week. Thank you to folks who are online that were watching, or anybody who will watch this later on. This will be available via our Facebook and on the Commissioner Dunn's YouTube channel as well. Let me stop sharing my live.